Let's give Lars a little love when he comes in.
He's gonna come.
Big win. Tonight you proved something to yourselves, that you can beat any team in this conference, right? And I think they're, 3 in the country. They're going to be considered to be up there. And, you know, I think that bucket that happened in Manitoba, we got robbed versus another good team. We showed that we could beat this good team. And you guys were the ones that did it. And for some of you guys that are returners, you've been the ones coming off the bench. You've been the ones that aren't the primary option. Well, now you're like, it's an adjustment. Just like being a leader and a captain is an adjustment for you new guys. Well, tonight you stepped up. You said, hey, this is how we close a game in our gym in the 4th quarter, and I've got some, right? And whap in some big shots. And that's what it takes, though, down the stretch. And tonight you proved it. And this is the jumping off point for us. This is when the snowball now starts to roll. As you say, okay, this is how we compete at this level for multiple possessions to get the job done, right? Tough road trip in a couple of weeks. We'll go in there. We'll make sure we can fight away for a W2 on the road. And then you get the second semester in playoffs. Now you know you can win. You have done it. Hey, lots of you guys stepped up with huge plays tonight in the 4th quarter. Don't forget that. Get some video clips, watch it, remind yourself every game, hey, I took care of business then. You got to keep taking care of business. Hey, let's start getting the snowball rolling with momentum. Hey, great win.
Bears on 2-1-2. Bears.
The whole experience was really surreal. From starting off the season with a bunch of guys that I've been playing with for a year or two and a few new guys, but playing with some great players like Tyus Jefferson, Jeffrey James, Cole Newton, and getting some transfers like Colton Gibb coming in and just all meshing in together is unheard of. Like a whole bunch of talent just not really being selfish and working together. So already in itself it was good because off the court was even better. We get to be like a family off the court, which helped us on the court. And to have the positive upward trend all the way into nationals that we hosted at home was just a surreal feeling. So all in all, we didn't get the victory that we needed, but the experience was like once in a lifetime for real.
We had a lot of preparation going into it. COVID kind of set us back. It was my first year playing after I transferred from McEwen, so to see that success was pretty reassuring that I made the right decision. And yeah, it was a great time. Hopefully we can get close to that or even try and make it the same place we were there last year.
It was super fun last year. You know, we had a really tight group, great chemistry on the court, off the court. So in that sense, it was really awesome. You know, everyone was hanging out with each other off the court. On the court, we just love playing with each other. And then obviously when you go 16-0, you don't lose a game in the regular season. It's exciting. There's no negatives to that. It was super fun.
Man, only one word. It was goosebumps.
Our games are always packed throughout the year, but knowing that you're going to get a full arena of Salvo just packed with people screaming, cheering you on was super exciting. And knowing that from the beginning of the year was good because we could see the long-term picture and, you know, any tough bumps in the road, we knew what we had to accomplish at the end and where we were going to be. So having the whole home crowd advantage was huge.
Probably the best gym environment I've been in. The seats were packed. There were fans cheering. There were people on the baseline like trying to distract the other teams. It was amazing to see how much the city can support a basketball team.
The crowd really came out and showed out for us. So again, the only real word I can say is surreal.
From the side for your goal.
Hey, bro, let me just get my phone, bro. Shut up! Hey, shut up!
The whole game was it was a blur almost.
Yeah, that was super tough loss.
Man, that was one of the toughest experiences I personally faced, and probably some of my teammates.
If you told me at the beginning of the year that we'd be in a one possession game, semifinals against Carleton, the team who has won probably 15 of the last 17 national championships.
It was very, I felt very into the game, but also it felt surreal to like play the top team in the entire country for years running in our gym and actually have a chance down the stretch.
And you know, the ball didn't roll our way, unfortunately. Couldn't really do anything about that, but it was very tough. I mean, you have all your friends, your family, you know, there's alumni flying in from BC, from SAS, other parts of Canada to come watch. You have my family coming in from BC. You know, everyone's there to support you and you want to get it done. And it was a really tough loss, but at the end of the day, I mean, memories we're gonna remember for our entire life, so.
Unfortunately, things didn't come out the way we wanted, but it was a good test, especially for me to see what that level is like. And it was my first taste of any nationals experience or any playoff experience, to be honest. So it was humbling at the end, but it made me feel like we could get there again. And this year, hopefully we could get there again and have another chance at beating Carleton.
All the preparation we did, all the hard work we put in throughout the whole year, it really showed at the end of the game. And just some unlucky bounces, and not really much we could do. But afterwards, it was more of a rally for the people who stayed that we got to get one, we got to win one. So it was more like a boost of, I wouldn't say motivation, because there was always motivation, but now it's more like we have something to prove and really win this year. So for everyone that came back, it's a good push in the right direction.
I mean, that's the thing with this job. You have to be able to deal with the highs and the lows, and when you have those crushing losses, it's going to stay with you. And I mean, you know, I've been part of some great, been fortunate to be part of some great victories in my time. I've also taken some big losses, and you just have to learn to cope with that. And first and foremost, you always feel for the athletes in the program, and you want to help them, you know, learn how to deal with that adversity. But I think that's one of the biggest teaching moments for anyone that's lucky enough to take part in university sport, is you learn how to deal with adversity. Life is full of it, and when you're part of that with a team, you know that your team all experience that low moment with you. You support each other, and that gives you tools to deal with, you know, adversity the rest of your life. You know, and hopefully from the athletic standpoint, it gives you motivation to come back stronger and better in the following years, to not experience those lows next time you have that opportunity.
The biggest thing I learned was probably to not take anything for granted. I mean, that was such a special experience that who knows, I might never ever get again, or an experience like that, or I might again. But never take it for granted. Always kind of live in the moment, as corny as that sounds, but you know, the experiences you get, just enjoy them, and then you just have to live with the results, whether you like it or not.
To be prepared for anything. There was a lot of different scenarios that happened in that game.
We know what it takes to get there, and then now I think we learn from our mistakes last year, and we know what it takes to win.
But I think playing them for the first time made me realize, like, especially in Canada, like, basketball here is not, there's no sure winner at any night. Like, there's always some way to get ahead of the next team, and being prepared is the way to do it. I feel like we scouted them very well, but there's room for improvement in everything. So.
I think basketball culture is huge at U of A.
One word, family.
We have 3 national championships we've won in the early 2000s, late 90s, and you know, I've been to nationals all 3 years I played here. So I think we've made 6 national championships in a row, and there's not many schools that have done that. You know, other than Carleton, might just be us. So you know, there's that culture of winning is huge here, and it's something that hopefully keeps growing.
From coaches all the way down to the last player on the bench, everyone's tight. You can talk to anyone about anything, and it's just a sense of togetherness that brings us together. And that's what shows on the court whenever we have new people come in and they just mesh within the system and believe within the system. Man, it's great to be a part of it.
If I were to compare it to MacEwan, there's a lot more money being put into the program. There's a lot more support from the community, and it's hard to get that support on the other side of the river because it's downtown. There's so many other things to do there, but I'd say the respect you get from putting in the work that you put in here, and the amount of support you get, and the resources that you have as a player here it's the best place for anyone wanting to play the youth sport level, I think.
It's great. Definitely very, very welcoming. Definitely high level of, I'd say, basketball. The style of play in Canada definitely is different than in the States. I'd say it's a little faster. But yeah, overall, I think it's been well, and I think it's just going to get better as we make it further into the year.
If you look at a lot of players that were raised out in Alberta, man, there's some real talent, and a lot of talent happens to try to go elsewhere to play, but they're made in Alberta, Canada, right? So talent like even Abdullah Shittu started basketball pretty late in his career, and just with a little bit of help is one of the best players in youth sports right now. But talent comes and it goes, but within Alberta, some of the best basketball players in Canada, I would say, have been produced.
Basketball is one of those things that can always improve. There's so many different areas that Edmonton and Alberta as a whole can improve on. I think the training children at a younger age. I'm not saying start them at 6 years old, but I think the quality of training and the amount of resources that they could be improved by a lot. There's a lot of kids out here who are willing to work, but they don't have the resources, or there are things that stop them from getting to those resources. So.
In total, in Edmonton, we have the Stingers, we have our team, we had national teams practicing at Saville the past couple weeks. We had the women's team and the men's team play here. So the community is really big, and I think nationally we see that. CBL hosted championship in Edmonton last year, and then we hosted national championship for U Sports last year. So just nationally, Alberta is a huge basketball hub, and I think it's just going to keep growing and growing.
In comparison to just sports in the States, Alberta, I think it's definitely it has a lot of work that it can do and grow. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity. I think, just bringing more fans out, just having more basketball and more sports, and I mean, it's difficult, I would say, with the snow, you know, to maybe get people to like want to travel and go to games. But yeah, I think there's, you know, the further you make it and the better teams do, the more people want to come and watch. So.
We've been really fortunate here. I mean, University of Alberta is a high academic school, so the student athletes we get here are pretty focused on not just their basketball, but their academics as well. So as a coach, that's a benefit. You get these highly motivated young men trying to get the most out of themselves, and that leads to having a strong culture. You know, a culture dedicated to hard work and people trying to, in general, just achieving excellence. And so it makes our jobs fun as coaches.
I think it's competitive. You know, there's a big rivalry with University of Alberta, Calgary. You have other schools like Lethbridge who's always competing really strong. You know, so there's a couple of really good schools that are always playing at a high level. So if you want to come play in Alberta in general, it's not a cakewalk. You know, you have to come in here, you have to be good, you have to put in time and effort, and then stuff will show.
I think last year was a good portrayal of people wanting to come because of the culture, right? We have a nationals for the first time ever in Alberta, or at least in Edmonton, and the crowd came out and we saw young kids from prep level all the way down to elementary just coming in and almost being inspired. And I think that's just going to be uplifting for Edmonton basketball, especially, and Alberta basketball, because now they can see that this is a top level, right? We match up with a lot of states, schools, stuff like that. So
Coming to play in Alberta it's a double-edged sword. There's great competition here. I think Canada West is one of the, if not the most competitive conference in Canada. I think the facilities here are second to none, and I think that all the coaches, the student kids, the mental health resources you get here are also great, but the weather is terrible. So you get a lot of snow, it gets cold, but as far as basketball, I think choosing here, you cannot go wrong.
I would say Barnaby Craddock was like a main reason why I came. You know, him just being such a genuine coach and like a real person, you know, outside of being a coach and wanting what the best is for me in my future. Yeah, I think just the transition from the States is just that the game is FIBA rules, 24-second shot clock, so it's, you know, I want to play pro, you know, after it's all said and done here at the university. So I think it was the best platform for me to help a team win, and then also, you know, also work on my skills and get that transition into playing that FIBA basketball. So.
The U of A program is a special program. I mean, people are graduating from here in all fields, whether they're doctors, lawyers, business, engineering, education, science. They're going on to careers, and people are coming in here on scholarships and leaving with their whole life set. You know, when you're done basketball, maybe you play pro for a few years, maybe you don't. You know, and you're in your 20s, your early 30s. What are you doing until you're 65 years old? That's the rest of your life. I mean, you need a degree that sets you up, you know, to have the life you want to live. And I think the basketball quality here is extremely high. High-end U Sports programs. It's great basketball. People are leaving programs like ours and playing national team, playing pro, and at the same time, you're getting a degree that can set you up for life. You're getting ties to all the brilliant alumni that have come through our program that run businesses and work in the field that you want to be employed in. So it's an easy sell. People want to come here for those reasons, and it's a smart choice. And every year we have a lucky 12 or 14 that are in the program, and you know, I can wish the same for my daughter. If you're in programs like this, you're on a good path with your life.
I think it turnout's pretty good. I think the biggest negative is you always compare everything to the States, and you see the Division I teams playing huge stadiums and they get huge fan support, and we always want that. And I think there's definitely is a lot of room for growth, especially with the students. In the States, the student sections are really crazy, and in Canada it's not as much, but I think that's just the sports culture. But I think in general, we saw last year with the U Sports National Championship, we had a great turnout at Saville. And already this year, our home opener last weekend against Calgary, we had a great turnout again. So I think it's just going to continue to grow, and I think people are coming, seeing how exciting our games could be, and they're going to want to come back and tell their friends, and hopefully it keeps expanding.
Definitely I feel like the media could get better. I think with just like being more interactive with the players, kind of having maybe a younger generation person in that kind of position to market us and show that it's a fun environment, and I don't know, just connect with the fans in a way, whether it's sales or half court shots or giving money away, or I don't know, you just the marketing side definitely I feel like should be someone that's given to the youth, because maybe the adults aren't really sure how to market to the students, because I feel like this has university got 40,000 people, we should be filled up, I think, each game, and especially we're not bad at basketball too, so I feel like it should definitely be more of a show out than it is. But how can it get better? Yeah, I would think just giving it to someone who actually, has that vision and drive to want to help their marketing career and help us, the Bears basketball get to a higher, maybe following or, more engagement. So, yeah.
There's ever since I came here, there's been fantastic crowds and local support. Golden Bears basketball and University of Alberta athletics have always been a big part of Edmonton. And Edmonton's a million people, and the U of A's 45,000 people right in the center of it. You've got coverage on all the major networks, the CBC and CTV and Global, and they're out here covering. And so people come out to the games, and last year's Nationals was, bigger and brighter than anything else we've had, and the crowd was fantastic. And I think it shows what basketball in Canada can be like if we're able to promote it and find the energy and time. After hockey in Canada, basketball is sport number 2. And in the world, after soccer, basketball is sport number 2. And if we put all the time and energy into promoting it in Canada the way we do hockey, things are going to be packed, not just in our gym, but everywhere. Basketball is a massively growing sport and a super popular sport, and I'd love to see it promoted like it was with our national tournament. It was a fantastic environment in here, and something I think we should strive to build from.
It's hit or miss. We have some games where the whole city shows up. Our rivalry games against Calgary last weekend were pretty packed. Whenever we play a good contender like Vic, we play next weekend, I assume people will come out and watch. But because of the level we play at, there's not a lot of chances for us to get into 2-point games down the stretch, because there are, even though we have a very competitive conference, there are some teams who are not at that level yet. So yeah, I think it's a good turnout when it's a good game.
I think just overall sports should just be admired more in terms of more enthusiasm going into games. So students can come and actually have a good time, right? They can come and make it like the States environment where they're going crazy and enjoying themselves within the game. And that will create culture that other people will want to come and play and watch. So, and hopefully it'll give some kid the motivation the motivation they need to come and watch and start playing.
I feel like getting to the students is the biggest thing. Like I said, it's in the culture, and maybe our sporting culture is not as big basketball-wise as it is in the States or elsewhere. But I think basketball in Canada in general is definitely on the incline. It's one of the biggest sports that are coming up. So I think if we could kind of get the student population, the younger population wanting to come out to games, that'll make it more exciting for us as players, and I think it'll make it more exciting for fans in general, and hopefully that just brings everything together and we'll have good support.
I think more coverage, like it's improving a lot throughout the past few years. Stuff like this, there's a lot of Instagram stuff happening. We got a couple of Instagram pages like In the Fourth, Persevere, Lazy Boy, you know what I'm saying, Tobi. But I think making it easier for people to watch us and see all those highlight plays, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in the gym in a big game that a lot of people don't get to see if they weren't in the gym watching the big game. So making those highlights more accessible to people, really promoting the big name players, really promoting the culture around the school could help improve all of that. So.
I want to give a shout out to you guys in this aspect, as well as all the other creators that have been coming and promoting our basketball games. It's been going crazy, right? The media is going up, and from there, we're just building attention and building it so that more people are aware of the games and aware of the talent that they could possibly be watching. So you guys have been creating culture around basketball in Alberta, and whether it's from Calgary, Edmonton, all around, basketball has been just better because of it. So shout out to you guys.
Yeah, I'm excited for the growth of basketball in Alberta. I mean, it's really taken off, and more kids are playing. More and more people are watching. We've got the CBLs, the Raptors Championship really brought basketball even a notch further. We had Steve Nash bringing it up before, and now you've got multiple Canadians in the NBA. So the lights are bright on basketball right now, and I think in the province of Alberta we have to anticipate it's going to get bigger and bigger, and how do we deal with that? And particularly at the youth level, I think more and more club basketball is becoming prominent and on par with high school basketball, which used to be the big player for youth. And we need to see certification. I mean, we need to have the coaches that are teaching our kids or in charge of youth basketball. We just can't have anybody open up a club and be in a position of power. I'd like to see similar to other sports in Canada and what basketball happens in Australia and Spain. There's a certification process. You've got to have, not just done a record check and a criminal check, but you've done basketball classes. You've learned how to coach and teach that sport. And now we can start to develop the youth in the right way. And I think that certification process for Canadian club basketball is overdue. And the sooner that comes on board, I think we'll see the quality of the organizations and the product that are an environment that our kids are being put in should improve quickly.